As soon as I got up the next morning on the 19th, I called the kids and I said, "You need to come in." Called Don. And he came right away.
As an agent, it's always hard when you lose a client. It really is. But this was even more so, just because he was such a good friend of mine. He has 6 kids. So that was huge, being able to walk in, hand in that check, not just bonuses. The family was able to receive over $1 million worth of death benefit to continue this legacy in the future. It paid for their house. It paid for an entire farm. It built a barn and their home and everything on that farm. So just seeing them every day there, knowing what he was able to put in place, that legacy he was able to build, it's a wonderful thing.
Not every day is easy. Most days are hard. But we have a lot to do. We really have a lot to do. We were actually in the very bed on the farm. We created our own graveyard cemetery, and we can see him anytime we want. It's just nice to have a place. The very best part of all this is that from this day forward, my kids are all taken care of. Their future is set. They have trust funds set up. They have life insurance policy set up with living benefits.
Dr. Hayes' case really showed the versatility of the IUL as an asset class. It was actually able to be what he needed to be when he needed it. While he was healthy, he was able to use the loan provisions in order to grow his business, as well as setting up a tax-free retirement plan for himself. When he did get sick, he was able to use the living benefit portion in order to keep his business running and give him peace of mind to have cash in hand in order to pay for medical expenses, things like that. And then when he did finally pass away, he was able to keep his business running for his family and also provide cash for the legacy to help move his family in the future.
I personally have my own living benefits policy now. I have one on each of my children at this point. You just don't know what tomorrow brings. And in those times, it's just awesome to know if something were to happen, I can pick up the phone and call Don and he'll be there with a tech. We have the honor of him being our friend outside of just being our agent.
Just being there and able to serve him that way, it makes what I do every day the best thing.
All right. So, not to get everybody down, we've had some time to do it now. But I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We'll go ahead and get started here in a minute. I'll let Kim do a quick introduction and then we'll jump right in.
Hi. For some of you that don't know me, my name is Kim Llewellyn, and I've been working here at Synergy for quite some time with these wonderful people. And tonight I would really like to introduce Don Rice, and he will be doing the presentation for you, Wealth 101. He is the president of our company, and he is a wonderful, wonderful family man, a fantastic husband, retired military, and a veteran. And we really look up to him here, and he does a lot for all of us. And thank you for being here to give us this wonderful presentation.
Thank you. So what that showed you was just a little bit of what we do. Okay, so I always like to show that to people because sometimes people will not know exactly what people plan to services. Some of you here are veterans. We talked about the veterans program. Just one thing to mention about that when you're veterans, we're always looking for people that want to build something by serving. And that's what we do. I tell people all the time. Every dollar that we make is to help put somebody else in a better financial position. So about veterans, that's what they want to do. Serving. We are Synergy Financial Partners. I've been doing this for 17 years now. Since I got out of the military, been in IT for a little while, and then after IT, I thought I wanted to be in IT, but I learned that computers are not watchable. They're supposed to be watchable, so they're very irritating. So I ended up going into finance. Numbers are more watchable. And so that's what I've been doing ever since. We have agents in 22 states now, and we have clients in all 50 states. We're pretty much everywhere right now. Tonight, what we're going to be doing is our Wealth 101 workshop. It's where we take personal finance, and we can try to show you how you can put those different topics and different strategies in place for yourself. Whether it be tax strategies, whether it's retirement strategies, insurance strategies, all these different things you can be using, because most people don't have any type of background and never really get trained in personal finance. High schools don't teach personal finance. The one thing that everybody needs in the world, nobody teaches. There's no personal finance in high school, and if you're in college, unless you're a finance major, you take no personal finance classes. And even if you are a finance major, you take one semester of personal finance. So they don't even really teach you too much. Most of the financial training you get there for business finance. Okay? So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to show you how to get your financial house in order through financial literacy. And that's what we do. We're going to try to change the way Americans plan for the future through education. Basically, that's what we pride ourselves in. I'm a financial advisor. Most financial advisors charge people for what they do. I do not. No one incentive charges anywhere for financial advisor. A lot of people think they can't access a financial advisor because they have to be wealthy to have a financial advisor. It's very expensive. Most financial advisors only work at the top 1%. That's it. You hear the commercials on the radio all the time. If you've got more than $500,000 to invest, call us. If you don't call us. So that's why. The huge commissions of large sums of money. We figure we take a whole different approach. We'll train enough people to where we educate. It's all about the education. I have lots and lots of clients that are clients. We'll sit down with you and we'll try to help you. If there's not something we can put in place for you, maybe there's something that we have, a way for us to help you get out of debt or anything else we could possibly do. And if we help enough people, things will come back. That's our philosophy. So that's what we do. We want to make sure everybody gets a good financial education. And so this all starts with understanding how to build that financial house. Okay, and like I said, if you guys have any questions as I'm going through all this, just stop. Raise your hand, stop me, and I'll go right and get deeper into whatever that question is. But there's 6 steps to getting your financial house in order. And number 1 is always ensuring proper protection. You would never put the roof on before you put the foundation down. Okay? While you may not retire tomorrow, heaven forbid something bad would happen, and you need some way to protect your family while you're in the hospital, on, soul story, whatever might happen. Stuff needs to be there to take care of. So that's where your insurance is coming. Okay, so that can be anything, your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your life insurance, your health insurance, all these different things. The one thing that everybody always thinks about is health insurance because it changes so often and everybody's terrified of what's going to happen to them with their health insurance. If you get it from your job, from work, it's ACA. Okay, it's Affordable Care Act. Any business insurance, typically for the most part, 90% are going to be ACA plans. So you have a choice for health insurance, but you've got 3 choices to make, and you will make one of those 3 choices. ACA covers everything. You don't have to worry about it. There's no such thing as a pre-existing condition, covers maternity, all this stuff's covered, but it's very, very expensive unless you get a subsidy. Okay? So if you're going through work to get it, you're getting a subsidy from your employer. If you're going to healthcare.gov, you can get a subsidy from the government. Okay? But if you don't qualify for even subsidies, you're self-employed and make good money, it is very expensive for your parents. Non-ACA. A lot of people don't even know what a non-ACA plan is. They haven't even heard of ways to get out of ACA. If you're very healthy, you should probably look at a non-ACA plan. It'll save you a lot of money. Doesn't cover pre-existings for 1 year. But if you're healthy, who cares? I don't have a pre-existing. Go ahead and go that route. If you're paying $600 or $700 a month for your ACA plan, your non-ACA plan is probably around $200 a month. It's a limited plan. It doesn't cover pre-existing conditions for 1 year. and it won't cover maternity or mental health ever. It's on for that. Okay. But it'll cover almost everything else. After a year, it'll cover the pre-existing. Keep in mind, it's not going to take you if you have a major pre-existing. You already have heart attack, stroke, cancer, things like that. They're going to tell you to go to ACA. They won't even accept you. All right. And then there's self-insured. You yourself, you're working with the doctor, you're working with the hospital, I don't have any insurance, what do you do for me? Okay, that's one thing. You'll make one of those three choices for your health insurance. So life insurance, everybody knows the difference in term and permanent, right? Term policy means it goes away after a certain term. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You pay, it's cheaper because you're only paying for insurance. There's no cash in it. And after that period of time, it's gone. Now they'll tell you you can keep it longer, but wait till you see that next month's premium. You will not keep it, I'll guarantee it. So you'll go from a $20 a month payment to a $200-300 a month payment, and then also go to $1,000 a month payment. And the reason for that is because once you've been with them for 20 or 30 years, they don't want you with them, they don't want that risk. But now I can take you to a different company, and you'll get a much, much better rate if you haven't been with them. The term is for certain terms, and you bounce around when you're going through terms. And normally you want to look at terms before you hit the next zero. Even if you have a 20-year term, probably a good chance you want to replace that in 9-10 years because you're going to keep that low rate when you're really healthy. You never want to get sick and then not be able to get insurance. So if you'll do that, if you'll replace your insurance at 29, it'll be cheaper than if you wait till you're 30. 39 is going to be cheaper than 40. If those zeros come, that's when your insurance really jumps. Just keep that in mind. Permanent insurance. Lots of permanent insurance out there. As a financial advisor, there's about 20 different ways I can use permanent insurance to build different things for you or your business. So there's lots and lots of ways to use it. It just depends on what you're trying to do and how we design it. Okay? And there's lots of different types. You've got your whole life, universal life, variable life, all these other things. Lots of different kinds. We'll talk about a few of those tonight. PNC, that's your car, your homeowners, business, stuff like that. The only thing we're going to talk about tonight about that is the notice like on here, shop it regularly. Here at Synergy, we shop it for you every single year. Some of our agents will shop it every 6 months to make sure you always have the best price. But make sure you're not with a company more than about 2 years. It's kind of like your cable. If you're with them too long, the price just keeps going up and up and up and up. You switch to another company, it comes right back down. You can even, I've been with the same 3 or 4 companies over and over, back and forth for the last 10 years. It's because I'll move from one to the other, and then back to the other one, and they'll always give me every year a better rate again, just to get that. Make sure if someone's shopping it for you, that they're looking at apples to apples or better. Sometimes someone will get you to change by showing you a better price, but they're lowering the things they're giving you and not telling you. Always make sure you're getting what you have or better if someone gives you a better price. Okay? All right, so when we talk about life insurance, we need to understand the difference in the old kind and the new kind. You heard a lot about that in the video you just watched. The old kind of life insurance pays when you pass away. It's not a death benefit. Period. That's it. It doesn't do anything for you when you're alive. The new kind of life insurance, when I say new, it's been since 1930, but most people haven't had it since about the last 10 years. There's millions of policies out there right now that people have for life insurance. And I'll tell you right now that most of them do not have living benefits. Probably about 90% have death benefits. And living benefits do not cost that much more. I've even sold some policies that are less than a death benefit policy just because of all the competition going on. When you get something with living benefits, keep in mind, again, they're not all the same. Make sure you're dealing with a company that deals with specifically living benefit type policies like Synergy. If we do anything with you on life insurance, we'll have it, period. All of our clients have living benefits at no extra cost. We put all these in every single policy. So what are they? Terminal. Of course, all of them have death. They all have a death policy, just like their normal policies. Terminal policy. If you have less than 2 years to live, they'll go ahead and pay that policy out to you right now. Why is that important? Gives you options. Most people don't understand what happens to their health insurance when you're terminal. The doctor says you're about to pass away, your health insurance stops paying for things like surgeries. There's no more paying for any experimental treatment. They're going to pay to keep you calm. That's it. Dr. said it best. They're not paying to try to save you. So now, let's say you had a $500,000 policy. You can pull that money, go get your own experimental treatment, hopefully try to save your life. Or you can say, you know what, here's what it is. You can take my family on a 6-month cruise and see you later. Up to you. It's options. You have to. You can make your own choices. Be careful with that one because some companies will say, yeah, we have living benefits. That's the only one they'll put on it just so that they can say I have living benefits. And then they'll say, if you have less than 6 months to live, there's no saving your life in that. Great news. Make sure you have one that pays as much as possible. Or they might say we only pay 50% out, or 20% of your debt. We see that a lot. So if you have 100%, 24 months out, good chance to save your life. Chronic illness. That one works more like you could think of it like disability or long-term care. It works similar to those types of policies. So you can pull 2% of your policy out per month until you hit 90% if you're considered disabled. So where does that help you? A lot of times when you're disabled and you're trying to get SSI, it takes up to 2 years fighting Social Security to get that. Well, this is nice that I only have to wait 90 days for that to start paying. And while I'm doing that other fighting, I have this going. And again, on a $500,000 policy, you can be pulling $10,000 a month for 45 months. Or I can pull $5,000 a month for 90 months. It's up to you. Up to 2%. $1 million policy will be double. Critical illness. This is the big ones like heart attack, stroke, cancer. These are lump sum payouts. And it goes by severity. And I say up to 90% lump sum. If you had a heart attack and it was a category 4, you get $450,000 out of that $500,000 policy. $900,000 out of $1 million policy. 90%. Category 1, which most everyone can do, you get about 25%. 2 or 3 will be in the middle. So it's by severity. Same with critical accident. Severe accident, brain injuries, severe burns, things like that, up to 90% depending on severity. So just make sure when you are looking at life insurance, you're looking at life insurance with living benefits. There's only a 2% chance that death policy ever pays out on term. Most people don't know that. 98% of term policies never, ever, ever pay out. So most life insurance companies make almost all the money. They've never paid a benefit out on term policy. Unless you go and get hit by a truck. Most people are not going to die because they're checking your health before they sell it to you. And you're probably not going to die. That's what they're betting. You're actually betting you money. And they're betting you not. And so keep that in mind. There's about a 60% chance that a living benefit policy will pay out. And there's over 60% chance that everyone can have a heart attack or cancer in life. So for around the same amount of money, it's a much, much better policy to have. There are way more uses for this. There's over 20 triggers that can trigger that life policy, not just one. So it's just a better bang for your buck. So when you're looking at that, why do you need living benefits and you're thinking it through, you got to think, what happens? You have your income and you have your expenses, right? And then you get sick. What happens to your income? You just had a heart attack. You're not working. What happens to your expenses? Well, that's the worst possible time for that to happen. You got lots of different expenses. And that's how you end up going bankrupt. You lose your house. The number one cause of bankruptcy, foreclosure, and business failure has nothing to do with debt. It's critical and chronic illnesses. And living benefit policies is the one way to solve that issue. Because now you're getting that living benefit that cash that's coming in to allow you to pay for stuff, and like you just saw, you put a manager in the office, you can keep your business running, you can pay your house off. You do all this stuff while you're there, while you're still in the business. And hopefully. All right, so that's number 1. Lots of different decisions and things to be thinking about for that proper protection. That stuff has to be in place. Got it? Yep, good question.
So I have life insurance through my employer.
Okay.
Is that a horrible idea?
Not a horrible idea because it's cheap.
Right.
You want to keep that, but everyone should have life insurance personally outside of their employer. The reason we don't count that, if I'm doing a financial analysis for you, I'll ask you about that so I know, put a note in, you do have that. But I never count that as true insurance. Because if you leave your employer, it's gone. And that's the issue. Plus, your employer policy will not have the benefits. It'll be a death policy. They'll also maybe add a disability policy, accident policy. They'll try to add separate policies. They're doing separate plans.
That's
So,
exactly right.
right, yeah, it'll be bundled up. There'll be a little bit out of your check for everyone. So everyone should have a personal because you lose your job, or something happens a week later, you have that personal one and you didn't even think about the other job. All right, so number 2. We'll spend just a little bit of time on number 2. Emergency fund. This is what you should have in a traditional bank. Okay, traditional bank. So wherever you keep your money, 3 to 6 months of your income should be in there. And that's about all that should be there. You got to think about what's actually happening when you're with a traditional bank. I know they're telling you they're going to make you a lot of money, but that's nonsense. The bank is in business to make money for who? So, the bank. I don't care what their commercial says. They're not there to make money for you. They're there to make money for themselves. What's actually happening? You have $20 and you go put it in your bank account. You're actually loaning the bank your money. They're charging you for the benefit of you doing it. They're taking your money and they're going to go out and earn 10, 15, 20% of your money on all the different stuff that they do. And then they're going to turn around and say, you know what, you're a great customer, we're going to give you 0.5% on your, let's say 1% on your savings account. Okay? You're going to learn why that really doesn't matter here in a minute. But that's what's actually going on with the bank. So everything outside of 3 to 6 months of your income should be going into something else. We'll talk about all the different things that could be. But those 3 to 6 months, they're there because the bank is safe and liquid. I can get that money quickly. Okay? But it's not really growing for me. It's not, you're actually losing money. If inflation, and it's more than 3% now, normally inflation is around 3%. If you're not making 3%, the money sitting there is losing money. You can buy less and less with it every year. So you're losing money by having it in that bank. So it's only there for a specific purpose. I lost my job and I need some cash. I need to fix my car, my air conditioner, that kind of stuff. That's a little safety net that you have going right now. Everything else should be pushed over to number 3, saving for retirement. And when we talk about saving for retirement, a lot of times, most financial advisors are going to talk to you about all the traditional stuff. 401ks, IRAs, Roths, things like this. And of course, here at Synergy, we teach about all those things as well. But we take it a whole step further. We teach you about all kinds of ways you can be putting away money for retirement. On top of all the traditional, you have pension planning. Most people go, oh, that comes from your business. You can put your own pension plan. You do not have to wait for a business to do it. There's alternative investing that you can be doing. There are real estate investing, business investing. All kinds of ways you can be putting money to work that's going to make you higher and higher returns. Now here at Synergy, we are secure financial planners first. It's kind of different than what a lot of people do. A lot of times the first time you talk to them, you say, how much money do you have? Because I need to know how much money I can put over here in the market. That's all they ask you. That's all they want to do. We don't do that. We do need to know the whole financial picture, what everything's doing. Our first thing is 1 and 3 tied together. When we're talking retirement, we always talk to people about their secure retirement first. That's things like pensions. That's things like retirement insurance contracts. Annuities. We're not talking about the annuities that you hear on the radio where everybody tells you you're going to lose all your money and their high fees and all this other stuff. We'll talk about some of those in a minute. Our annuities have 0 fees. They're way cheaper than but people don't tell you that. So those are secure things. Those are things you cannot lose money. And if some of your money's in non-losing, guaranteed, no-loss products, we can calculate kind of what that's going to look like in the future. We can't really do that with 401k. We can make a projection, but I don't know when the next crash is coming, and I can make you money, and make you money, and make you money the day you retire and lose half of it. So you should have a foundation on your retirement side that's of secure money as well. Okay? You can't hand out books and stuff. You learn about some of the secure ways, that retirement nesting. We always build that first, then we build all the market stuff and the alternative stuff and the business stuff on top of it. Most advisors try to do it opposite. They want to get you into all the stuff that he's making them a lot of money first, and then worry about, you don't need insurance now, do that later. Why would you wait till later? It's cheap now. The later you wait for the secure products, the more expensive they get. It's kind of the opposite when they put them in later. They should put them in first, very cheap. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about with retirement. So when we go into there, we're going to first talk about how money actually works. There's 4 types of money. You got free money, taxable, tax deferred, tax-free, tax deferred, and taxable. Taxable, of course, is your worst kind. That's what you get paid. Okay? So that is your regular, ordinary income. You don't see the taxes. They come out before you get your check. When you're younger, you get that first check, like, what just happened? There's your taxable income. Welcome to the real world. All right? Free money's the best. I give you $1, you get the lottery, it's taxable. It's free to you. Or you get a match on your 401k. Very good. If you have a company that has a 401k, first question is, do they have a match? If they have a match, put in up to the match. The company is going to want you to overfund. Stop right there. Put it up to the match, and then put something else in place that we'll talk about. Talk about a few different things you put in place. Start that secure retirement plan. Get that stuff going. Then if that's completely overfunded, go back and overfund it. Don't do it in the beginning. Take the match. Get the free money. It's the best kind of money. If you're going to put in 3%, let's say they're matching 6%. Put in 6%, and they're going to tell you, but you could do 16. Take the other 10 and do something else with that. And then go back and get enough money to forward. And the reason for that, let's just talk about this for a minute. If I ask you, when do you want to pay your taxes? Do you want to pay tax on the seed, on a small amount of money, or do you want to pay tax on the harvest? A large amount of money. When would you rather pay tax? On the seed. Everybody says it. I've never been to one of these and they say, oh, never mind, I'll pay on harvest. Okay. Why do 90% of Americans pay on harvest? It's education. They're taught to pay on harvest. You gotta think why. Why is somebody taught the wrong thing? The way our system works, you have 300 million people that are not considered wealthy. They're taught to do it one way. They're taught to do it one way. Then you have about 10 to 20 million people that are wealthy. They are taught to do it differently. That's free. The coffers need to be filled with lots of money for taxes. Why in the world would they have everybody pay to see? They're not going to teach that. They're going to teach you to go get a job, find a company that has a 401k. How many times have you heard it? Go get a job, find a company with 401k, work there 40 years and retire. Does anybody work somewhere 40 years anymore? No, they dig into the 401k over and over and have nothing. That's what actually happens. It's taught that way for a reason. The government has time. If you're doing a 401k, the average savings for you is about $2,000 a year in taxes for doing the 401k. So yeah, $2,000 a year in tax savings because you did the 401k, and they tell you that's a good. But what they don't tell you is you didn't pay that now while you're working and you could. We're going to take 20 times that later when you're not working. Because of that growth. You're always taught, oh, don't worry, taxes get lower later. Nonsense. Nonsense. You're in the third all-time low tax rates right now. We're in all-time high debt. Right? Tell me where you're tax. Why would you not pay tax now while you're working and we're at a lower tax rate? When someone in 20 years could get in office and raise it up to 80%. You've worked your whole life, and they say, thank you, and they take all the money. After World War II, the top tax bracket was over 98%. You got to keep 10 cents of every dollar. Keep that in mind. Don't think it can't happen. Think about that when you're thinking about everything. Okay? Anything can happen. Why not pay your taxes now? So again, tax-free. How do we go tax-free? There's lots of ways to go tax-free. Here's 3 that most people look at. You got municipal bonds, safe, pretty much safe. Not going to make you a whole lot of money, not going to grow. They're not there to do big growth things like stock shop. But you're going to live on the dividends that are going to come out, and going to pay out, and they're going to be tax free. So what do I need if I want to retire on bonds? Lots of them. Lots of them. So you pretty much need to be pretty wealthy in order to buy so many bonds that you can actually retire. Roth IRA. Everyone should have a Roth IRA. Everyone should. But a Roth IRA is not a retirement. Sorry, I have to tell you that. A Roth IRA is a retirement supplement. Like 401ks are sold used for retirement plan. Retirement plan. Supplement. A pension is a retirement plan. Social Security is technically a retirement. The retirement plan pays you until you die. From the day you retire to the day you die. Supplements pay you to the end. So Roth IRAs are great supplements because they're tax-free, much better than a traditional IRA. Roth 401k is much better than a traditional 401k. If you're ever offered a job and you have that choice, always choose the Roth. You're working now. Who cares about the tax savings? Pay them now. You'll thank yourself later. I'll guarantee it. Okay? And plus, a Roth IRA, you only put up $7,000 a year into it. You're never going to build a big retirement plan. And if you're wealthy, if you make over $138,000 a year, you can't have one. So if the wealthy can't use something, do you truly think it's the best thing you can possibly have? And when you listen to the radio, I guarantee everybody's telling you Roth IRA is the best thing you can possibly have. Because they're trying to sell a book. Again, just think about it. The wealthy can't use it. It's truly the best thing you can possibly have for your life. And then there's life insurance. I'm not talking about the life insurance we just talked about. I'm talking about retirement insurance contracts. They work very similar to pensions. Okay? You pay till you put money in until you retire, and you take money out until you die. That's how they work. Okay? A lot of times when companies put pensions together, they would use a sort of retirement insurance contract or an annuity to build that for each of their employers. We can use those same types of things to build them for anyone. Most people don't know they have access to that. We do it every day. So in order to understand how those type of products work, there's a few features you have to understand. One is compound interest. The rule of 72. Albert Einstein says it's the most powerful thing in the universe. The person who understands it will make it. The person who doesn't will pay it. You all pay it. You ever wonder why you bought a house for $150,000 and in 30 years you pay $450,000 for it? Rule 72. The banks know it. Okay? You ever wonder why TJ Maxx asks you for open a credit card every single time you buy something? They're going to charge 25% interest. You can't really understand what that means. You don't pay it off every 2 years. That dress just costs you twice as much. You keep doubling. You never pay it off. So whatever interest rate you get on your money, if you divide that into the number 72, it will tell you exactly how long it takes that money to double. And it's a mathematical fact. It'll happen every single time. 472 doubles in every 18 years. And it will double every 18 years. Guaranteed. The reason your broker hasn't told you about this is because there's a catch. You can't take a loss. Negative numbers makes it non-rule. The rule of 72 doesn't work with negative numbers. So if you're in an account that can take a loss, there is no such thing. I put you in an IRA, after double and double and double, and like I said, you retire, market crashes. Sorry, we didn't double your money. Company took half of it back. So it has to be an account that cannot take losses. That's the key to Rule 72. And then you think, well, in math class I learned if I go from 4 to 8, I'll double my money. It's twice as much, right? Compound interest is interest on interest. It only takes 2 percentage points to double your money in a retirement account over time. So if I go from 4 to 6, I'll actually double my retirement because of how fast it's moving. 8 would quadruple my retirement. So it totally matters where I'm holding money. And you'll learn that when we start talking about some different ways that we build money for our clients. Okay? Your banks, their best products, most banks are around 1 to 2%. But if they have an investment division, 3-4% is kind of where they're typically. When you're dealing with a financial advisor, that's where you're typically getting into, say 12 plus if you're dealing with alternative investments, but you way below zero with alternative investments. We'll never think about that. So just keep that in mind, and that's why you never go into those types of things until you've got that secure setup already. We always look at, if we're sitting down and we're sitting at, okay, you want, I don't know, let's just keep the math here. You want $10,000 a month to live on in retirement. Then we try to get you securely set at $12,000 a month. About 20% more than you want. You want $5,000 a month in retirement? We try to get you securely set at about 6. About 20% more than you say you want. Then once we have that secure, we know that's going to come in, that's when we go into all the extra stuff. We're going to try to get you as much as we possibly can for alternative investments. But if something didn't work out, we know we really can. When your family member has something. Okay? So that's the better way to look at it. Because we don't want you to get to that point and say, oh my God, now I'm retired, which happens to people. Right? Again, that's what I said. And believe me, he still makes a lot of money. It's been a long time. I think his estate made over $24 million last year, $28 million, somewhere in there. I mean, he's still making good decisions with his money. All right, so let's kind of look at the negative effects of taxation. So this is the rule 72. This is the way the government looks at it. If I can put my money in an account, and it's a tax-free account, meaning I already paid, well, I don't say tax-free, keep in mind, you've already paid the tax. Nothing's truly tax-free, but tax-free means I've paid my tax and now it's mine. All the growth is mine, everything's mine. I don't have to pay tax. So if I put a dollar in, I've already been taxed on that dollar. And I could double it 20 times, however long that takes. I'd have $1 million in my account, and that's mine. It's my money. What do the middle class typically do? They typically do what their parents did. Put money in the bank, banks are safe, get some CDs, grandma's already got some CDs, okay? That kind of stuff. Those things are making you a lot of money. And that CD is going to compound every year, right? And then they're going to give it back to you. You got to go to a new CD. Well, what happens when they give it back to you? You're taxed on the growth, right? Every year, over and over. So if I'm in stuff that's going to tax me every single year, what do you think happens to my money in the exact same period of time? Both of these accounts need $1 million. This is my account. I walk away with it. It's mine. I had a big party with the government, the bank, the broker. There was a bunch of people in my account my whole life. And then on top of that, because I didn't know how to plan properly, they have another party. And if I leave that to my kids, they get to pay some taxes again on it. Depending on how stuff is set up. I know there's limits and stuff, we can go over all that later. But just as a general thing. When you're looking at the way the middle class typically retire or pass away, and the wealthy always have an inheritance. They always have that step up for the next generation. They've got something to give, and it's usually planned very well where that's not going to be taxed either, the way it's going to be left. And we make sure you're set up that way. It's set up properly. That's the estate planning side. Middle class don't do that. They don't typically leave money. They leave what? Debt, yeah. They leave stuff. Yeah, they leave houses, land, credit cards. They leave stuff. And all that stuff is getting ready to be relooked at again before they take it. When you're out driving through the countryside, even here, I've driven through the city. You're always seeing houses that are sitting there rotting on the ground. Somebody used to own that house. That was someone's retirement. Maybe they don't live here anymore. Maybe they're in California now. Mom and Dad passed away. The house is back in St. Louis. Oh, I'm gonna go get my house. Oh, the bank said, okay, go $50,000, I'll give you your house. Whoa, I'm not living in St. Louis. Never mind, I want the house. Someone's retirement. Someone's legacy is going to just rock over because of poor planning. Next thing you have to understand is understand secure accounts and how they work. Indexing. Anybody heard of indexing? Okay. So indexed accounts, they're not in the market. They're watching the market. And they're credited based on what the market does. If your money's in a 401k, it's in the market. There's no way of stopping it when the market starts to come down. Someone has to buy what you're trying to sell. If they're not buying it, guess what? It's just going to keep tanking on you. So you can't stop it once it starts going, unless you want to take a big loss. If you're in a secure account, use indexing as a growth mechanism, your money's physically in an account somewhere, just like in the bank. It isn't the bank except for it's an insurance company account, so the bank. As the different indexes are going up, based on whenever it is for you, daily, monthly, annually, whatever it might be, it credits. So if the market went up 10%, you get 10% in your account. If the market went down 10% negative, you get nothing. Indexed accounts have zero floors. They can't take negative numbers. Why is that important to us? Rule of 72. As long as your account can't take a negative number, Rule of 72 holds. So indexing and Rule of 72 goes together. You've got to have that. You have to have one to have the other. Okay? This is what the markets did, large company stocks, S&P 500, from 1997 to 2012. You see the 9/11 in the tech bubble, and you see the housing bubble. The two biggest downturns side by side since the Great Depression. And because they happened so close together, they wiped out a lot of people's retirement. A lot of people thought they were getting ready to retire. You probably know some people that had to keep working, retired with family, whatever. But it didn't go as planned. The reason why I travel all over this country and teach this thing to everyone, indexing is the big thing I teach. Indexing is a huge thing. My mother worked for Walmart for 32 years. She's manager of Supercenter since Supercenter started. She knew Sam Walton personally. Been to his house. Did you ever know he had a river going to his house? He could fish from his house. Yeah. She had $1 million in her profit sharing year. Lost a bunch of it. Of course, with Walmart, you can't move money and stuff when you're with a big company. Most of the time, it speaks their rules. So couldn't do anything. What did they tell her? Don't worry, we'll Walmart. It goes up and down. You don't lose anything. That's a lie. That's a half truth. She lost time. And in the retirement equation, time is a huge piece. So that's what they don't talk about. She had $1 million again right here. She did. It came back. Again, after 10 years. And then right here in 2009, she slipped and hurt her back at work after 32 years. She made a lot more money than most managers. So what did they do? They pushed her out of disability retirement and hired somebody a third of what they paid her. She had $450,000 left in her retirement account. She had $1 million twice. She would have been in an indexed account, which goes up when the market goes up, but it never goes down when the markets go down. You never have to dig yourself out of holes. It just flatlines when the markets are negative. As soon as the markets are positive, it goes up. And it doesn't go up when it gets back to it. It goes up as soon as it goes positive. So you're never digging out of holes. In any given year, yes, the market can absolutely outdo what you're doing. People tell me all the time, well, you're only making me 90% a year. I could have made 25% last year. That was good. Last March, we lost 38% too. Any given year, the market can absolutely be indexed. But since the index never takes losses, look what happens over time. The market can't catch it over long periods of time. And you never dig out of this. If my mom would have been in this account, she would have retired with over $2 million. Not more than that. Oh, I was watching this.
How do you get to one of those?
Hmm?
How do you get to one of those accounts?
Well, that's what we're not talking about. Yeah, those are the index accounts. So first, before we go into that, I just want to show you, you have to understand why they want it. Okay, so when you're thinking about that, because when a lot of people now, they're going to try to retire on 401k, they're told, oh, that is the retirement. No, 401k started in 1980. 1980 is when it started. Before that, you had pensions. Those were retirement plans. Granddad got a check his whole life, and granddad died, and got a check. Doesn't happen now. So we're showing you why that works that way and why we can still do it. Or how you can still do it. So this is kind of the same thing. This is your typical 401k 2000 to 2010. If you had $1,000 in it, you had $1,000 at the end. It took 10 years to get back to normal because you had 4 down years and 6 up years. If you would have been in a pension style plan, you would have had a 0 floor. At that time, it was a 13% cap. So you didn't make anything that first few years, but guess what? You didn't lose anything either. And at the end, your money doubled. It didn't stay stagnant. Because you never had to dig out holes. Yes, you didn't get the 28. No, you did not get the 26. You capped at 13. But guess what? You didn't get the negative 22, the negative 37, the negative 11. You didn't get that either. So over time, what matters more, which I have in my final account. You don't need to earn as much because this one has that 13 cap. Anything below 0, I don't care. It's on the insurance company. Anything above 13, that's also on the insurance company. That's the trade-off you're doing. They're keeping the high ones, but they're taking all your low ones. That's the deal you're making. Over time, that works out for everybody. It's more of a win-win type thing. They're making a lot of money. Yes, they are. You want them to, that's what they offer you profits. And you end up making way more money yourself. And so does your family because they're protected by life insurance. So win-win. Insurance company, you, your family. So let's look at a case study real quick. Tale of two brothers. One's going to use a 401k, one's going to use a retirement insurance contract to build their retirement plan. Both making the same amount of money, both kind of earning the same amount in those two plans. 401k is going to put that $6,500 in, he's going to do a $1,000 match. But he has to buy insurance because there's no protection on 401k. You do need some insurance, term insurance, while you're building that retirement estate. Now stop right there. What I would have suggested, put the $1,000 in, get the match, and then take the remainder of that and go over into a retirement insurance contract and build that plan first, then come back once that's totally built. Why would I say that? Because the 401k is fully taxable. Counts as ordinary income when it's coming out. The whole thing, it's never been taxed. So every penny of it is now taxed. Subject to all market risk. Whatever happens in the markets, we're going to happen here. Subject to large undisclosed fees. You will absolutely know the 1 to 2% brokerage fee on your 401k. You will know that. You'll get a statement every year that tells you what that brokerage fee is. And they'll say, and there's no more fees. That's a lie. There are dozens of fees on 401k. You will never ever know about it. Every time anything in that 401k changes, somebody's paying. The average fees over 35 years of buying a 401k is over $150,000. That is the average. It's coming out of your money in that growth. And you saw in that one slide what happens when money's coming out during growth. No use of control of your money until 59 and a half. Everybody knows that one, right? It's a qualified account. People always get qualified and non-qualified. Oh, don't go to non-qualified. That's horrible. Why? Why is non-qualified horrible? You know what qualified means? Government's in charge. Period. That's all it means. And they make you think it's so great to be in a qualified plan, you should never look at anything that's not qualified. Those are bad things. What were pensions? A lot of them are not qualified. What does not qualified mean? Business owner makes the rules. You make your own rules. There's no, you have to do this, you have to do that, all this stuff. That's a rule because it's a qualified plan. The government's letting you wait to pay taxes, but what they're actually doing is they want to give that money enough time to grow to get the biggest bang for their buck by letting you wait. So there's a penalty if you pull out too soon. And then, what happens if you wait too long? At 72, you have to take what? R&D, required minimum distributions. And if you don't, this is only a 10% penalty here. If you pull out too soon, there's a 10% penalty. If you don't pull out by the time they definitely want their money, there's a 50% penalty. 50% that they keep because you didn't pull out within the time frame they want. So just keep that in mind. All these penalties associated with it. 98% chance you never use the term. We already talked about why. Okay, most people are going to lose it. All right, so over here there's no match. You're doing this after you've been paid. It's nothing to do with your employer. Permanent protection on the life insurance side, not term, because it's built on a life chassis. The retirement insurance contract with life protecting you. That's why Granddad got a check his whole life because of the money going in and growing. Grandma got a check when he passed because of the protection on the insurance contract. That's why that worked. Provides 100% tax-free retirement with living benefits because that permanent insurance has living benefits attached to it as well. In term or permanent, we'll put it in the ball. You just saw what happened. That was a permanent policy. They actually had permanent interim at both that they were using. Zero market risk. It's an index policy. Can't lose money due to market downturns. No limits on contributions. Well, here's 401k. With $19,000 in it a year. IRAs, $7,000 a year. Simple, $12,000 a year, depending on what kind of plan. If it's a qualified plan, there's rules on how much you can put in. Virtually no limits. Virtually. What virtually means is you have to qualify for what you're trying to do. There's no limit on it as long as you qualify financially and medically, because it's protected life insurance. You have to get a qualify. Now, there are other products we can use if you can't qualify medically to still make it work, but you still have to qualify financially for those products. They just take the life insurance off. Still index, still does everything else. There's just no benefits life insurance because maybe you already have heart attack, stroke, cancer, so you can't qualify for that. We can still build the retirement piece without life insurance. Still works the same way. So, virtually no limits. We have real estate investors who can do $100,000 a year. Do $100,000 a month. We just had one, I think it was the biggest case we ever closed, just closed about 3 weeks ago out in California. Richard closed, it was a $3 million a year is what he cost. Largest single case closed. $3 million a year in one policy. Insane. But he's worth a lot of money, so qualified. Complete use and control over your money. There's no 59.5 rule. None of that. You put a bunch of money in here, and next year you need to pull money out. There's no penalty for you doing that. No RMDs. You don't have to pull money out. Who says it? If this thing is building and building, you still have plenty of money coming in for your business and everything else, you don't even have to touch it. Just leave it all for your kids. That's what we want. There's no RMD. Permanent protection to your 120 in your life. Oldest person alive right now is 117. If anybody ever makes it to 120, that'll go up. Just like it used to always be 100. Old whole life policies always had to pay out 100, and we were 110 because somebody would pass 100, and now it's at 120. We have one company actually already has changed it to 125. But they'll keep moving them up as they have. And I've read study after study. There's already people alive right now that have been born that will be over 150 years old. And when you think about that, you got to think about what that means. It doesn't mean, oh my God, I want to die by the time I'm 100 because look at how people look. you got to think about it. Long time ago, people died at 30 and 40, and those were the elders. Okay? Now, 30 and 40, you're still in the prime. You're just running around doing whatever you want to do. By the time people are living to 150, you're going to see people 100, 120 still running around doing whatever they want to do. They're not going to look the same like they do. The people at 140, 150 are going to look like 100-year-old people now. So as all this changes, you're going to see people living longer and longer, healthier lives. Again, I won't even get into the conversation about Social Security and all that, but that's why they'll just keep pushing it up. So, well, now I got to work till I'm 70? Yeah, but by the time I make it to 70, it's going to be different. All right, so 30 years later, what happened? 401k grew to 800,000. No life insurance left. Now he's older. It's hard to get regular life insurance. Life insurance is going to be very expensive. But he saved $65,000 over 30 years, around $2,000 a year, and that was the big selling point. Everybody tells you to do it. Look at all the money you saved. His grew to 709, didn't grow as much, it grew a little slower. But what happened to that life insurance? Because keep in mind, when he put that in place, that's an instant asset. He's bought a permanent estate for his family. What happened to that estate in the same amount of time? It started at 600. So not only is his retirement growing, but what's going to his family's growing all the time as well. It's guaranteed. It will go one day to his family. No taxes. 0% savings and taxes right now. That's why we told you made a horrible decision. What matters is what you get to keep. That's what they don't want to talk about. They want to talk about all the good things in the front. Taxes, well, I could have paid no taxes. I was doing my work. Here's the bad part. They both want to live on $97,000 of income when they retire. The brother with the 401k has to pull $130,000 a year out to get $97,000. Remember, this is a distribution. It's fully taxable income. He's going to pay $32,000 a year in taxes. In 2 years, he's going to pay every penny of 35 years of taxes back. And in 9 years, he's debt broke. He's paid close to $300,000 in taxes when he could have paid, while he wasn't working, when he could have paid $61. It's the way the system is designed. That's why in 1980, the government said, guess what? You guys, you business owners don't want to be pension anymore, right? You want to pay people for the rest of their life. You don't take all that risk, do you? We got this new thing called 401k. If we give you a tax break for offering it, would you do that? And we'll take all the risk off. As a business owner, you're going to say, absolutely. Mr. Employee, you don't want to pay taxes and stuff all the time, do you? What if we show you this new PowerPoint? You want to pay taxes. We'll take care of it. It'll grow fine, and you can pay taxes, later. You'll be older, and don't worry about it. That's what you do. Don't pay any right now. Keep all your money. Good deal for you?
You think so?
Perfect. Everybody's happy, right? We got 401k. Who's the biggest beneficiary?
Yeah.
There you go. All right, thank you. Say Brother Newway, 97,000 of income, but now this is going to come to him based on the value of that account. They're going to make a calculation. He's going to call in and say, hey, I'm 65, 67, whatever it is. I'm ready to retire. What's it worth now? $97,000. Good. I want to retire. That's what I want. He's going to get that check for the rest of his life. Pay no taxes. Does not even count as income. Still gets his full Social Security. Social Security means tested. He does not get his full Social Security on this side. Because it's pulling money out of 401k, it is income. He pays more for Medicare because of his income. He gets all of his Medicare at the lowest cost possible. Every government thing that can be given you as a senior, he gets. This is when you hear, why do the millionaires still get their Social Security? Because they're not millionaires on paper. proper planning. Rockefeller was the richest man pretty much ever. When he died, what did Rockefeller work? Rockefeller, not his trust. Rockefeller. He's worth nothing. He owned nothing. Proper planning. It's how you're earning your money what matters. He'll get their full everything because he doesn't have any income. I'll show you why. And if he lived till age 100, he would have been paid $3 million. And what was happening with that death benefit the whole time he was working? That estate was growing. What was happening to that death benefit the whole time he was retired? So, his family now, when he dies at 100, gets another $3 million. It's a 7-figure difference with the exact same amount of money going in. It's just like that chart I showed you guys. Who gets to keep what? This is why you have a 401k. And it's all we know. It's all about education. Take the free part. Build that, just like your grandfather. And this is where I'll sometimes have people tell me that's too good to be true. You can't do that. And that's why we go over everything we just did. We do the education first. Because if I just showed you that last slide, I would have that. But when you understand the rule of 72, you understand indexing, you understand the power of low losses and why things work the way they do, the 401k is ran through the banking investment system. They love you when money's coming in, but wait until you call them and say, "Give me my money." Watch how that conversation. You have $800,000 in that account, you pull $100,000 out. That is income. Taxable income, distribution. You're going to pay tax on it, you're 75. And that money came out of your account. It's gone. Next year, you're going to do it again and again. And you're going to be broke, in this case, about 8 years. The average 401k lasts 5 to 7 years. 5 to 7, it's gone. Now, when I say the average, that's the 401ks that have money in them. If you look at all the 401ks out there, half of them have less than $17,000 when you something retirement. They don't last 1 year. It's because what happens? You move from one job to the other, you want to roll over, now just take the money. You get penalties, taxes, everything else. Oh, I broke my leg and I'm out of work. Oh, just keep the 401k for a while. Whatever happens, what do? You jump on and knock it out. That's what is the money in most people retire. They're not disciplined enough to do it. Retirement insurance contracts are into the insurance industry, and they're looking for that win-win-win. So what they do is they do not give you any money out of your account. The longer your money is in your account, the more money they make. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. The longer your money is in your account, the more money they make. And you want them to make a lot of money. Like I said before, that's why they offer these products. But not only the more money they make, the more money you make, and the more money your family makes, the longer it's in your account. Because they give you your money in what's called a loan from their general fund. Insurance companies have billions in their general fund. Your account is at their office. There's zero risk for them to give you a loan because their money, they have your money too. So they'll give you that $100,000 as a loan, and they'll give it to you every single year. Now that you understand the rule of 72, and our accounts, the long-term average on those secure accounts is around 8.3%. Our long-term at 35-year average is about 8.3%. So now that you know that, I'm even going a little worse than that and saying we double your money about every 10 years normally. 10 to 12, whatever time frame. But if it's going at 8% really hard, it's doubling about every 9. But again, more conservative, let's say 10. 700 that never left your account doubled in 10 years. You've been paid $1 million and you die that year. Your brother moved in with you 2 years ago. Okay? You die that year, what happens? They're going to pay themselves back with some interest. It's not going to be these exact numbers. They will take some more fees off the top. But then your family gets the rest tax-free. What if I don't die? Fine. Your account's going to double again. They've taken no money out of your account. They've been giving you these loans. You've made another $1 million. So they can make $2 million in retirement, and you pass away that year. They're going to pay themselves back with some interest. Your family's going to get the remainder tax-free. What if I don't die? Okay, that's fine. You've been paid $3 million now. You're 95 years old. Your account's now worth 5.6. They're going to pay themselves back with some more interest. Your family's going to get 2.6. The previous slide was because you lived 5 more years. About 3 million, 3 million, what that came down to the time, because you lived to 100. This is why Granddad got to check his life. Doesn't happen here. Doesn't happen. Any questions about those 3 things? Rule 72, indexing, and powerful losses. Those are 3 key things you have to understand how secure accounts work. Everybody should have this.
I have a question.
Yeah.
On the right-hand side, how many years do you have to pay in order to get this?
Typically, you need to have at least 10 years left of payment for someone to make it work. Now, I say typically. Depends on every situation. When we sit down and do a financial analysis for someone, typically I'm looking at people 55 and under to start one of those type of accounts because they're putting in monthly payments. I do have some people in their 60s that do them, but it's because they've got money and they're dumping in huge chunks. You'll probably hear different seminars, be your own bank, infinite banking, bank on yourself, all the stuff that business owners go to that become lenders and are money lenders. They're using the exact same product, it's just built different. But instead of you putting $500 a month or $1,000 a month, they're putting $20,000 a month or $100,000 a year in these products. They're building personal banks for themselves. So same type of product, just tweaked a little, make it work different. Yep.
How much is there like a minimum amount, like $1,000?
Depends on age. Depends on age. Usually, if you have a child, because we can build Head Start plans with these as well. For a child as low as $50 a month, you can put in a plan to work for a child. At $50 a month, it pretty much sets them up for about $100,000 a year in retirement. So $1,600 retirement in retirement. Yeah. If you did $100 to $150 a month, that'll probably pay for a lot of the college and retirement. If you did, I have one client doing $400 a month for their child, that's going to pay for college, first car, down payment on their first house, wedding, and retirement. And in retirement, the child will get about $350,000 a year.
Okay, so as an adult, like you
There you go. Yeah.
I probably would choose my grandbabies, but so like I turn 60 every year. So
So again, we have to sit down and do an analysis and see what works. So it's just different. It's just different based on everyone as far as what are we currently working with, what can we do, and what has to be done as a minimum. And we'll take those types of numbers. What I usually run is you say, okay, I can do this. I can do 500 or whatever. I'll run that to see what it's going to give you.
okay.
And then you tell me what you actually want. I'll run that number backwards to see what it takes. So then you would have both. Say, okay, I can do this now. I need to do this. Let's get something started. And then as things are getting better and better and work, let's try to move in that direction. Yep, that's the way that works. Okay.
Oh, we said the points.
Oh, you can. Talk to Rick. Let's let you come here too. So we do that with what's called an IUM, Index Universal Life, because this is the way that we kind of fix the problem of some of the old products in the past, about 1998, and it is what gives you that guaranteed no loss. That's the key feature there, which is some of the older products, variable life and stuff like that, tends not to work as well because of the losses that you take. And you hear horror stories. And you're hearing people on the radio tell you, oh, don't do that because you can lose your money. Of course, they won't tell you. They're using examples of variable products, but they're talking about it as an industry. So don't do that because if you get a variable example, they'll lump all this in. Totally new products, totally different products. You cannot use new products. Why do we use this one? Because it gives you a bundle effect. You got your retirement, you got your life insurance, you got living benefits, disability, you got all kinds of stuff without having to buy 10 different products and everything else. All in one solution where you save matters. We talked about that. All right, so why does this make sense? Safety of no negative returns, possibility of high positive returns, fear absorbs all your risk, that's key, that's that 0-4. Ability to create tax-free income. Death benefit self-complete. That's really, really big, especially for younger people. A lot of people don't understand what death benefit self-complete means. When you first start a job, think about what's going on in your head when you're starting a retirement plan. You're going to do a 401k. You know, if I let them take $500 a month out of my check, I'm going to have $1 million to retire one day. What happens if you accidentally get hit by a bus next week? You've put one $500 payment in, and now you got hit by that bus. What does your family get? $500 minus taxes. You make one payment. Now you have one of these policies in place that has that extra protection on it. You make the first $500 payment, it's got $1 million protection on it, and you go get hit by that bus. What does your family get, even if it just happened, just make the first payment? They get $1 million immediately. So that whole retirement plan that you had built up in your head that was going to happen a long time from now, they get it immediately. Self-completes that day. Tax-free. Tax-free, that's right. So then here's the next one. Tax advantages. And again, that's why the wealthy use these to fund their trusts and things like that. Is because of all the tax advantages that are dealt with life insurance. A lot of times when we're building family trusts for wealthy families, you're going to fill those trusts full of retirement insurance contracts. It's just more protection for them. Again, one thing they never want to do is lose money. So they'll put it in where they can do calculations to know exactly what happens. And they know that when they're in secure accounts, it doubles their money for them every 10 years, basically. So they have an idea, if I've got $100 million here, I have $200 million, whether I do anything or not in 10 years. Any family can do that. It's a smaller number. Anybody can build generational wealth if you're not losing it. You're not trying to dig out of those holes. That's the key. Guaranteed return of premium and insurance for a lifetime without paying for a lifetime. You pay into these things until you retire. Then you stop paying and you start getting your retirement payments out of it, but you keep that life insurance permanent. So that's number 3. There's lots of other stuff we could talk about, but that's not the part of tonight, just regular talking about retirement planning. Just go over the secure side. That's what everybody should have, the secure side. Then we can go into, like I was telling you before, alternative investing. There are different ways to invest for tax purposes. Your gas and oil and that kind of stuff. There's real estate investing, also for tax purposes. Business investing, lots of things you can be doing. And we have those conversations and that sort of coaching with our clients. We don't charge them for anything. You can come ask us questions anytime. Because you've been to one of our seminars, you'll know my cell number at the end of this. If you just have a question about anything, always feel free to bounce it off me. I'll give you my ideas back. It won't cost you anything to do that. Number 4, eliminating debt. So when you're talking about debt, you got to think about it, what actually happens there. You can make a lot of money with debt, but you have to have good debt. There's a difference in good debt and bad debt. Good debt is an asset. It puts money in my pocket. Bad debt is a liability. It pulls money out of my pocket. So where's the interest going? If I got credit cards and cars and things like that, where's the interest going? Away from me. That's a bad debt. That's a liability. If I have a foreclosure and I pay $500 a month for that foreclosure, but I can rent it for $1,000 a month, where's that extra $500 going? To me, positive cash flow. That is an asset. I want all that debt I can get. When you see Robert Kiyosaki and Trump and all these other people that have all these billions in debt, but they're some of the wealthiest people out there, it's because that debt pays them more than they pay for the debt. It's all called arbitrage. Arbitraging debt, you can make a lot of money, you just gotta know what to collect. So when you're looking at your income statement, your balance sheet, when we say someone is poor, it's normally that's the person we're thinking about that's paycheck to paycheck. So when COVID hit, that's who got hit the hardest. Paycheck to paycheck, and now you can't go to work. What do? You need help. That's where the help was actually needed. They absolutely needed it. Middle class doesn't really like that. They're paycheck to buy junk and more. So in the middle class, you have keeping up with the Joneses. You've heard that term, right? Okay. You have the Nissan, your neighbor buys the Audi. Oh. All right, buy the Mercedes. And then all of a sudden your neighbor comes home with a Maserati. Oh. Now you go buy something else. You need the bigger house, the bigger house. You're not ready to buy it yet, but you need it. That's these guys. Then they come to a wealth 101, good for them, and they learn that that's not what they should do. You should be buying things that are paying you until these pay for these. I'm not saying the wealthy people don't have stuff. They got a lot of stuff. I'm saying they build a business plan and pay for it before they get it. When I buy a new car, I don't just walk in and say, I'm going to buy this car. I walk in, find the car I want, find out what it's going to cost me, what's the monthly, what's this, what's that. Okay, fine, buy. How many agents do I need to pay for this car? All right, 5 agents doing such and such amount of deals and every single month to pay for it. Okay, where's the new market I can go to? All right, let's go to Orlando. Go down to Orlando for about a month, train up 5 or 6 new agents, get them running. The agency overrides from them coming back to me is now more than the car. Go buy the car. That office pays for my car. You can have anything you want if you build a business plan to pay for it first. Anything. Keep that in mind. And that's how the wealthy get wealthy. Cash flow. We're almost done. Because number 6, we don't really do a lot with it. We've been talking about everything. We'll go ahead and cover it now. Number 6, estate preservation. That's your wills, your trust. That's the things that we're putting together in order to make sure everything's taken care of. And that you pay the least amount of taxes that you're supposed to pay when that happens. Okay? All that goes into that. These contracts we talk about, all that goes into your whole life building already. And then a few extra things. Increasing cash flow, number 5. 2 ways to increase your cash flow. You make more money or you pay less in taxes. That's it. Make more money, pay less in taxes. Either way works. Most Americans pay twice as much in taxes as they're actually supposed to because they don't understand tax law. That's a fact. Okay? I'm not telling you to evade taxes. I'll go to prison. I'm telling no one to do that. I'll go to prison. You'll go to prison. But you need to learn to avoid taxes you're not supposed to pay. Tax avoidance is what everybody needs to do. Only pay the taxes you're supposed to pay. But most people don't. They don't know exactly what to do. You have all these people doing free tax returns online, don't know what they're supposed to be doing, and they're paying way too much in taxes because they're not doing the proper things with deductions or setting themselves up properly to get it done. Okay, so we educate people on how to pay the taxes you're supposed to pay. And then also how to make more money. You can get a part-time job, work harder, get a promotion at work, start a business of your own. There's all kinds of ways to make more money. And you put those 2 things together, and you can do very well for yourself. So we're going to kind of look, we're going to end with how those 2 things work. So the types of incomes you can make. You got earned income, that's your job, trading time for money. There's only so many hours in the day, and so much you can make. Yes, a CEO can make a lot of money for his time, but there's still only a certain amount of hours in the day. Investment income. That's your 401ks, your IRAs, your pensions, all this kind of stuff. That's your paper money that's being invested in all this stuff. Passive income. That's key. Passive income is how you become wealthy. There's a difference in rich and wealthy. Rich is a lot of money. Some people can become rich, some people won't. Anybody can educate themselves and become wealthy. Wealthy just means your passive income is greater than your expenses. Your passive income is greater than your expenses. That's how you become wealthy. So if I have $2,000 a month in bills, and I go out here and I get 5 or 6 rental properties, and I'm making $4,000 a month on my rental property, are my bills paid? Depends. So let's just look at it kind of a case study. If I have these rentals and I'm out working them, if you are renting from me and you know who I am, that's not good. That's earned income. That's a job. Don, come fix my toilet. Don, my air conditioner's not working. That's not passive income. That's not what I'm talking about. But I will have a management company that handles all that and sends me a check. You won't know who I am. We could be at the same place. You'll never know me. That's passive. The rents are paid to the management company. Management company keeps 10 to 15%, sends me the rest. No one knows who I am. I don't even know my renters. I don't know who you are. I don't care. That's a business. There's a difference in a job and a business. It's a job if I own a bunch of properties and I'm working them. It's a business if I own properties and I don't know who you are. That's passive income. If I've got that passive income coming in and all my bills are set up on direct pay, do I need to get up today? Can I go on a month-long cruise? Can I go hike the Appalachian Trail for 5 months? Can I do anything I want to do? That's wealth. Wealth is measured in time. Rich is measured in money. You're wealthy when you can do whatever you want. That's financial freedom. And that's what everybody should be striving to achieve. This slide, we got like 3 left. This slide is the one that I want you to understand more than anything. This slide is why so many people are fighting in America today. This slide is how politicians get everybody to hate each other every single day. By lying. There's 4 sets of tax rules in the United States. They want you to think there's one. They broke the law. They know there's 4. The employee, and keep in mind, 95% of the population is over here with 5% of the wealth. 5% of the population is there with 95% of all the wealth. Employees are going to pay about 40% of all their money in some sort of tax, whether it's income tax or estate taxes, whatever it might be. Some sort of tax, they're paying about 40%. Then you say, hey, I'm a really hard worker. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to be self-employed. I'm going to have a business, start to go to work. You don't truly start a business. You're just going to do it for yourself. The government says, that's great. We're glad you're a hard worker. You can pay all the employee taxes plus 15% self-employment tax. Good job. Keep doing it. So they penalize you for doing it. Because you're a sole proprietor or a partner. Sole proprietor is bad enough. If I say something wrong, you can sue me and take my business and my house. General partner is the worst thing you can possibly do. We're in business together. I'm worth 100,000. You're worth $1 million. I say something stupid. Your lawyer's about to sue who? Him. We're general partners. We don't care about me anymore. I'm going after him. If you're truly a business, you're going to be set up as an LLC, an LLP, an S corp, or a C. Instead of a sole proprietor, if you're an LLC, I say something wrong, you can sue me and take my business, but not my house. We're partners in LLP, I say something wrong, you can sue me for part of my business, but you can't touch my house. Before, you could have took his business and his house. You can't touch him at all over here. Only talking. S corp and C corp. As your business is growing, you can go into these bigger things, or things like benefits and larger things you're trying to buy and bigger write-offs and stuff like that. Most companies, 90% are absolutely fine with an LLC, ran with an S election. LLC with an S election, which gives you a lot of the benefits of an S corp, without all the hassles of an S corp, is how most businesses can be run absolutely. You can do it for about $150 online yourself, Or you should, I suggest you get with a CPA or someone that can set it up for you and let them handle it. It'll cost you $300 or $400, but guess what? They deal with all the headaches. Once a year you have to sign up. That's it. You're done. They deal with all of it. Much better. The reason why you see these different taxes, here you're 55, there you're 20, and there you're 0 to 15. And again, here's your politicians. Don't let them lie to you. Try to make you think it's just like you and everything. It can be. You can be anything you want through the education. That's what we help coach you on as well. But you got to think what's happening here. It's not that Warren Buffett pays less than his secretary. That's nonsense. That's a lie. Pays less as a percentage of his income because of the way money works. Over here, you have income. Income's taxed when? Immediately. So you make all this money and you're taxed immediately on the whole amount of money because you're paying tax coming in. These people don't make income. We make revenue. And because I make revenue, I don't pay taxes as the money's coming in. I make money, make money, make money, make money, spend money, spend money, spend money, make money, spend money, make money, spend money, spend money, spend money, until when? When do my taxes occur? December 31st. Why do you think offices have office parties? Do you think they care to still do an office party? It's a big write-off. Why do you think your tech companies buy new computers every December? Why do you, or whenever their fiscal year is? Why do you think Enterprise goes out and buys all new cars at a certain time of the year, whenever the fiscal year is? Because then you can get the tax write-off right there at the end to push that revenue down. Because I can make $100,000 and spend write-off, and all of a sudden, boom, I'm at $40,000. I'm taxed on that. So we're paying the same amount of taxes on what is shown at the end. But a business owner has deductions and all this other stuff, write-offs, everything they can do, depreciation, and all that stuff. And then you're being told, oh, that's a loophole, or they cheated. Or no, they wrote the law. You just understand it. That's what we say when we teach you about tax law. So we talked a lot tonight about leveraging passive income, compound interest, pillars of wealth. Leveraging, working your own businesses, things like that. Passive income, that's what you need to become wealthy. And then pulling some of that money over to secure accounts with each compound interest. We talked about all this tonight, how to become financially free. It all starts right here with goals. Because you guys have been here tonight, get with the person that invited you, and everybody qualifies for a free financial analysis. Like I told you right in the beginning, I'm happy to sit down, help you set some goals. We're the least passive, most passive people you're going to meet. We're not going to pressure you to do anything. We just like you to see some options, and if it makes sense, great. If not, you can use us all you want to. Just bounce ideas. If you're trying to do something with money, I'll be happy to let you know, hey, that sounds good. Or maybe you should think of it like this. So, I'm sorry. Went a little long. I know we got kind of off this couple tangents, but I'm glad everybody came out tonight. It was fun. If you have any other questions, happy to field those right now for you. But feel free. That's my cell phone. That's my email. Contact me anytime you need to. Happy to.
Good job. Good name.
There you go. Nate.
And you're here 2 days, right?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm leaving Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
So if you need tomorrow, that's perfect.
All right. Well, we're going to get
That's great.
Oh,
Where we going? I'm right here. Your office?
yeah, you got my office?
Yeah.
You're ready to go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, what time are you going?
What time? What's the deal?
So for me, or for Don,
I'm
what
not
time?
saying that.
Oh, yeah, Don, what time works for you?
Um,
Oh, good.